Has a doctor ever told you your blood work looks normal, but you feel exhausted, inflamed, bloated, or stuck? Maybe you're dealing with brain fog. Maybe you wake up tired even after sleeping. Maybe your digestion feels or your energy crashes halfway through the day. But every time you check your labs, you're told everything looks fine. Normal doesn't always mean optimal. And the gap between normal and optimal is exactly where functional health testing becomes incredibly valuable. In this video, I'm going to explain why you can feel terrible even when your labs say you're fine, and how deeper testing can uncover patterns that standard blood work may miss. My name is Jacqueline Stanley, and I work in the wellness and supplement space. Every day I see people trying to improve their health. They're buying vitamins, minerals, probiotics, detox supplements, sometimes 5, 10, even 15 different products. And I know they're doing this because they want to generally feel better, but here's what I see over and over and over again. People are spending money on supplements without actually knowing what their body needs. So they're trying magnesium because someone online says it helps. Then maybe they try iron, then B12, then probiotics, then something for inflammation. And after all of that, they still don't feel like themselves. Not because supplements do not work, but because we skip the step of understanding what the body actually needs first. That's why I often start with functional health testing, because testing allows us to move from guessing to understanding. Traditional blood work absolutely plays an important role in healthcare. Doctors use it to identify infections, diseases, and monitor serious medical conditions. It's extremely valuable for diagnosing things like diabetes, thyroid disease, or anemia. But the way traditional labs are interpreted focused on identifying disease or major abnormalities. And that's where many people get confused. Most labs results are interpreted by using something called a reference range. A reference range is created by collecting from a large group of people, identifying where results will fall. Now, if your numbers fall somewhere within the range, then your result is typically marked normal. But C is the average represents status, not necessarily optimal functioning, so they can technically fall within the lab range while your body is still struggling to function at its best. This is why many people are told everything looks normal, but their symptoms tell a completely different story. Let's talk about the difference between normal and optimal. Normal simply means your numbers fall within range and are typically considered in a large population. But optimal means your body is functioning the way that supports stable energy, mental clarity, balanced digestion, strong immunity, healthy stress response. When something in the body is slightly out of balance, it may not yet trigger a disease diagnosis, but you might still feel it. You might feel tired more often, mentally foggy, inflamed, stressed, or constantly on the run. These are the kinds of signals that often are overlooked when we are only focusing on disease markers. One thing I always remind my clients is that symptoms are communication. Your body is constantly sending signals. Fatigue is a signal, digestive discomfort is a signal, brain fog is a signal, mood swings, cravings, poor sleep. These are all ways your body communicates that something may need attention. But symptoms alone do not tell the full story. They tell us something is happening, but not always why it's happening. And that's where functional health testing can give us a deeper insight. Functional testing takes a different approach. Instead of only asking, is there a disease? It asks how well the body is functioning. Depending on the specific test, functional testing can evaluate patterns related to nutrient status, metabolic function, digestive health, detoxification pathways, oxidative stress, stress response, and cellular energy production. For example, some comprehensive tests also functional imbalances scores in areas such as methylation, toxic exposure, mitochondrial function, fatty acids balance, oxidative stress. When we look at these patterns together, we start to see how different systems in the body are interacting. And that information can help explain when someone might feel tired, inflamed, or mentally foggy, even if their basic labs look fine. One of the most useful sections of many functional tests is the nutrient needs overview page. In this section highlights nutrients that may need additional support based on the body's metabolic patterns. These include nutrients like antioxidants, your B vitamins, essential minerals, essential fatty acids, amino acids, and digestive support nutrients. Instead of randomly trying supplements, we can look at this information and create a more targeted nutritional approach. That's a much more efficient approach than simply guessing. Another feature I appreciate in these functional tests is the interpretation at a glance pages. These sections help break down the science in the way that's easier to understand. They explain the role each nutrient plays in the body, what can cause deficiencies, what symptoms may appear when levels are low, and which foods naturally provide those nutrients. So, the report doesn't just give data, it also helps people understand their body better, which is incredibly empowering. This is where the biggest shift happens. Instead of guessing, instead of buying supplements after supplements and hoping something will work, we start using information to guide our decisions. This information becomes a foundation or a personalized health strategy. Because when you understand the patterns happening in the body, we can start supporting those systems more effectively. I see this scenario almost every day. Someone feels tired, so they start taking magnesium. Then they hear iron might help. Then then probiotics, then maybe something for inflammation. And eventually, they end up with a cabinet full of supplements. But nothing really changes. Not because supplements do not work, but because we never ask the most important question first. What does your body actually need? And if you've ever been told everything looks normal while you still feel off, just know that you're not imagining it. Your body is communicating. We just need better tools to understand what it is saying. If you're tired of guessing and you want a clearer picture of what's happening in the body, this is where functional test assessment can help. During a functional test assessment, we review your symptoms, analyze your results, and create a personalized protocol based on your body's needs.